So how are we doing today? How are we doing today? Greetings. Greetings. This is Uncensored Guyana. I am your precious gift, Dr. Love Prasad. I want you to get used to that name. That's the name I'll be using in the near future, the official name. And I come to you today, Saturday, because you're special. Because you, my audience, you, my followers, you are special. And without you, there will be no me. I exist because of you. I want to repeat what I've said quite some time ago. You see, I'm into history. I'm always a student of history because history teaches us what we shouldn't try twice. Because of history, society is going down a certain road. Because of history, laws are amended, laws are adjusted. Because of history, single people decide to stay single, and some of them who would have come from a bad relationship, because of history, it taught them and teaches them who to avoid, what to avoid, where to avoid. So history is very, very relevant to the continued growth, stability, and progress of any society. We must take cognizance of that. Some of us have the attitude, oh, I forget that. Oh, I don't have to bother with that. Oh, I have to this. And guess what happens? Those same individuals who have the attitude to say, well, oh, I don't have time with that. Oh, it's done already. Oh, it happened already. They're always the ones to regret. They're always the ones to keep repeating their mistakes. While there's some people who they have a notebook, and ever so often when they want to check up on themselves, to check up on their current status as to where they are today, they would refer to their notebook and read the notes they would have made a few days ago or a few years ago and make comparisons. And the question they would ask themselves, have I repeated the stupid thing I did before? Have I been mixing with the people I used to mix before? History. Never forget. This is why we celebrate birthdays, right? Isn't it? We celebrate birthdays because we were once given birth to. It is that occasion of us being birthed into this world, we celebrate birth anniversaries. It is an historical date that we celebrate. We celebrate as a country independence. We celebrate as religious people certain religious holidays like Christmas, Easter, and so on. Why? History. All are based on historical evidence. Historical dates of things that happened hundreds, even thousands of years ago. We celebrate history. The attitude that, oh, that's done, oh, that's past, oh, that's this. You never forget history. I am a student of history. When I make reference often on my show, on my talking points about what happened in the past, it's because I want to provoke your memory that you also should not forget the past. Those who hurt you, those who scammed you, those who broke your heart, those who made promises and didn't deliver. Never forget. Places you go or you went and had bad experiences, never forget. And most importantly, politics. You never forget your experience as an individual, as a nation, as a country with politics and politicians. Don't forget the history that you would have experienced with them, because it's bound to what? Repeat itself. When you sleep and you forget and you choose not to remember, you go back on the same stupid thing you did before. Hence, we have what you call repeat offenders, criminals that cannot be rehabilitated, lovers that can't stop cheating, individuals that can't stop lying. Why? Because all those individuals forgot the consequences they would have experienced as a result of their crime, their lies, and their cheating. They forgot. So they repeat the same stupid thing. So today, my theme is fool me once. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me 2 times. Shame on me. Fool me 3 times. I am the fucking idiot. So fool me once. Everything I'm going to say here revolves around that. Fool me once. Excuse me. Firstly, the Charlie Kirk issue is still in the news because he is a legend. He is a legend, was and is a legend. Something I want to take away from that I want to lend to the Guyanese audience. I am hard on crime. I don't fuck around. I've said before, kill the criminals. That is a perpetual statement. Kill the criminals. However, I also said before the elections, when the law of Guyana was trying to apprehend those people who were involved in the looting, the double-day crisis, all of that, I advised the relatives, the friend, the parents of those criminals to give them up. I also warned them, don't think you're going to escape to Suriname as a fugitive of the law, because they will find you and they'll shoot you. But my main point was, if you know who the criminals are, and the criminal is your son, your daughter, your relatives, your boyfriend, your husband, whoever it is, give them up to the police. That is when you are being a citizen, a law-abiding, patriotic citizen, when you do not encourage or hide crime or criminals. You give them up. I've called upon that. I've emphasized. I've asked, and I've recommended that Guyanese families develop that attitude of snitching on criminals. You know somebody committed a crime, snitch on them. Snitch. Call the cops. Let the people go away. Let the law come and take them. The murderer of Charlie Kirk is a white guy. You would think that his family, because he's white, and they don't want that stain on the white people or the white community, because every time you have these kinds of events, these kinds of terrible incidents, it's always perpetuated by white people. You would think they had too much of stain. You would think that enough is enough. Look, we can't allow this race or this group of people to continue to carry these negative, evil stain. That was not the point. That criminal who murdered that man His own family snitched on him. And when I say family, that lives in the house with him, parents, relatives that lives and see each other every day, they snitched on him. When they realized by his confession that he did it, they made sure that the FBI was informed and the law was informed. They snitched on him because they have one thing in their minds that they say they're not going to stand with crime and criminals regardless of who the perpetrator is. And in this case, the perpetrator was their son, their brother, their relatives. They snitched the fuck on him. They made sure that he is arrested and gotten away with. Whatever the outcome comes, they stand with the judgment because they do not condone those kinds of crimes. That's the white people that we like to call, not me, we like to call racial. They're hiding white people's crimes. No. I applaud that family for giving that man up. How many black suspects are getting away with murder? Literally getting away with murder because black people do not give them up. Again, in America, 80% of the crimes against black people are unsolved because the perpetrators are also black. And those who know don't give them up. And that's black on black crime. This is white on white crime. But yet the relatives of the perpetrator gave him up because they would not condone that. In Guyana, how many people are still wanted that some communities know who they are? They are still in those communities. They hide them. They conceal them. They allow them and help them. They facilitate their escape because the criminals are black and the people who are hiding them are black. We should learn from the white people and the Indian people. Black people should learn. When you cover crime up, it makes you a criminal. When you cover up crime, you are the criminal, not just the perpetrator. You also are the criminal. When you sit back and you stay silent, when people are abused, when they're throwing acid in people's faces, when they're harassing people on the road, when they're pickpocketing people, when you, black people, you shut up and you just turn your face because the victim isn't you or looks like you, you are also a criminal. So Guyana, the Guyanese community, give up these criminals. Give the criminals up. If it's your son, your daughter, your husband, whoever they are, if they had any real reason to live or to contribute to society, if they had any ambition of want to bring about a change to the lives of themselves, their siblings, their children, whoever, if they had any amount of interest in doing that, crime would never be on their agenda because they know the consequences of crime. It will never be on their agenda. They would stay as far as possible from crime and criminals. But those who take the time, who consciously pursue crime, invest in crime, encourage and support crime, they have nothing to live for. So you can arrest them and send them away. They are no use to society. Snitch on them. Black man, black woman, snitch on the criminals who might be your relatives. Get rid of them. As long as you are hiding them, you're not safe. Somebody will snitch. And when they come for the criminal and you are there, you can get caught in the crossfire and lose your life because of your stupidity and your racism. Snitch on them. Moving on. Fool me once, You have seen the 12. What do we call it? Not even the 12 disciples. The number 12 is kind of interesting, huh? Isn't it? I'm into numbers. You know, like the United States there, the Charlie Kirk situation, it took them 33 hours before they catch the criminal. 33. You know what 33 means, right? 33 is a significant number in the Illuminati. The Masonry, that's the highest degree. 33, the highest degree, significant with the Illuminati. September 11th, it's ritualistic. Anyway, I'm not going into that. In Guyana, we have 12. 12 is also significant. It's a completion of a cycle. The number 12, completion of a cycle. The end of the cycle. 13 is new beginnings. The fact that the PNC secure only 12 seats, the universe, let me say God, because a lot of these PNC idiots don't understand these terms like universe and stuff. I use the word universe because I want to stand behind the universal idea of the God consciousness. I'm not going to limit it to just the Hindu God and the Muslim God and the Christian God, the universe. So everybody can be appreciated for what they believe in. And look, a lot of you are quick to come pushing your stuff. Yeah, universe, but Jesus is Lord and Savior and all the rest of things. With no respect to you, if you think like that, I don't care. I don't care if in your book, Lord Krishna is the one and only true God, or Jesus is the one and only true Messiah, or Allah or Muhammad. I don't care. Keep it to yourself. Okay? I'm not talking to Christians. I'm not talking to Hindus. I'm not talking to Muslims. I'm talking to people. Human beings. In my book, human beings come first. Whatever you want to identify as after, that's your problem. Keep it to yourself. Don't try to convince me. I wouldn't be convinced. So when I say universe, I'm talking to humanity. Humanity. Everyone. Okay? The universe. Send a message to the PNC camp. I'm giving you 12 seats, the lowest you have ever experienced from your foundation, because this is the time, this is the year when I'm declaring to you that it's over. This is the end. Here is where you stop. Your only option is to start over. But the PNC, as it is, as it were, prior to the elections, is done. Finished. That's the message the universe sent to the PNC camp. 12 meaning you're done. Finished. To make matters even more dramatic, and black people, you are dramatic. You are very theatrical. That's why you are some of the best actors and actresses. So theatrical. Everything for you is a whole explosion. You see why they get a lot of attention on social media? You see why these junkies, these black junkies with a smartphone, covered in filth, nasty looking, you can smell their stench through the phone, through social media, in your phone. You somehow start getting something smelling very bad, and you're asking yourself, where the fuck does that come from? Not realizing is that person's video, like Melly Mel and these other Lola people that you're watching, Your subconscious is getting their stink stench. But the reality is, your environment, your home is clean, it's tidy. Even people like that, with those kind of social scorn, even them get people to watch their videos. Even them. That is how distasteful, that is how society has lost its taste. Because these people over dramatize. They're so dramatic. They put on a show. They raise their voice. They get so explicitly explicit. Fiery. Fiery. Heat. They get the attention of the average person. And the average person now, their whole thought pattern is disturbed. They forget where they were prior to listening to those people. Their whole day is fucked up. They're messed up. They become toxic too. That's where we are now. That they're going to carry the fight. They're going to carry the fight of these losers. Imagine women that you would denounce your brother if your brother messes around people like Melissa Atwell or Lola or these other people. If your brother messes around those women, you would change your name because you don't want any association with your brother. But yet you're going to share their videos. Yet these women, you're going to share their videos. Women that you want nothing to do with in public. Absolutely nothing. You're still going to share their videos on your decent wall. What does that make you? That make you a silent whore. Yes. That brings out the bitch in you. It's like some part of you wants to be a bitch. You see yourself like those kinds of whores. So you're like, when they behave like that, you're like, it appealed to a part of you. It's like an aphrodisiac, Check yourself out. Really. Check yourself out. PNC, you're finished. But I want to talk directly now to the good, decent Afro-Guyanese and all the Indo-Guyanese. You see, if I can have 400,000, 500,000 views on YouTube, especially YouTube, I know that I've reached across Guyana. Facebook is shitty. Facebook, don't get carried away with views there. That's a 30-second, 15-second stuff. Don't get carried away. That has a different crowd. YouTube is where the smart people are. The elite, the ones that make sense, are on YouTube, not Facebook. Now, the Indo-Guyanese, Amerindian, mix, and Afro-Guyanese. While you are proud Afro-Guyanese, while you are proud to boast that you stand with all people of Guyana, while you are proud to boast that you have zero prejudiced racism in you, look at the party that claims to represent you. Look at what they just did. This is why the fact that Aubrey Norton, its leader, could have done what he did in the past, supporting criminals, standing behind crimes, supporting these bad protests, supporting a breakdown in law and order, supporting these protests. Why he did it is because that's truly who he is. He wasn't pretending to be racist. He is racist. He wasn't pretending to be a man who would stand behind criminals. He is a criminal. It wasn't a pretending thing. That's who the man is. And now he has demonstrated that. Look at the list of people from the PNC going to the parliament. One Indo-Guyanese. And he is a deportee of the Indo-Guyanese camp. They expelled him. He's a cast out, an outcast. Ganesh Manipur. He's an outcast. So he had to seek refuge in the Negro camp. So just for the want of this point, I'll say Indo-Guyanese, but he's really no Indo-Guyanese. He still have to figure out what his identity is. Then we have the other one there. One, Amerindian. Oh, she would have been prime minister, right? Is it? Fernandez. Imagine she's the one who was supposed to get the Amerindian votes. That woman who was supposed to get Amerindian votes. How much Amerindian votes did she get for the PNC? How much? How much did she get for the PNC? How much Amerindian votes? None. Because the Amerindian community wanted nothing to do with her. Nothing. They don't even know her. They don't even know who she is. She's a know-nothing. She's a no. She's invisible to the Amerindian community. The same way Mahipal, which Indo-Guyanese vote you can get? Which Indo-Guyanese vote? The Indo-Guyanese abandoned you a long time. Did you see Kemraj and all these other guys didn't really bother with the campaign? Nagamutu? All the PNC so-called Indo-Guyanese who milked and drained the juice or the honey during the 2015-2020 elections. Where were they during the campaign? They crossed over to the PPP. They just used these dumb niggas. They used them. They crossed over to the party they belong. But where are all of them during the Norton's bid for the presidency? Where are they? Where were they? They don't give a fuck about Norton. Only Manipur. Manipur represents Manipur. He doesn't represent the Indo-Guyanese. He represents himself or his community. Community. Not Indo-Guyanese. One Indo-Guyanese, one Amerindian, and 10 Negroes. You get it? One Indo-Guyanese, one Amerindian, and 10 Negroes from the party whose name was a Partnership for National Unity. They're the ones who went on the campaign trail talking about they stand with all Guyanese. No. The PNC historically is a black party. Only blacks. And they have depreciated their value over the years because the Afro-Guyanese wants nothing to do with them. So the PNC from 2015 to 2020 to 2020, 2025, they got weaker, thinner, and thinner. Well, I thought that instead of the party shrinking in size, Mahipal and Norton should have been affected by that so they could lose some weight. But it didn't affect them, it affected the party. They went from a plus size to a skinny in less than 5 years. I want to know what's their plan. I want to know, Norton, what is your meal plan for the party? What is it you guys were taking? I want to know because I need to throw off some weight. I still have some stuff at the midsection, you know. I have a few ounces I need to get rid of, you know. It's not that, you know, it's not a thing, but I have to. What's your thing? What are you using? Because you guys shrink very fast. But this is why. Before the whole country and before the whole world, Norton made a statement that he doesn't care about no other ethnic group in Guyana but his base, which are the blacks, not Afro-Guyanese. I need to draw the distinction there. The blacks. The blacks and Afro-Guyanese are two different people. The blacks are the ones from the ghettos. The Afro-Guyanese are throughout the country who voted for the PPP, and some of them stayed home. It is too obvious, Norton. You hate the Indians so much that you put David Hines and all these other idiots who publicly calls and called for division and racism against the Indians. Those are the people you put to represent who? But I'm glad it happened. I am happy it happened like that so the Guyanese can wake up and understand that they were fooled once by the PNC. Once. And if you Afro-Guyanese are stupid enough under the current status quo of the PNC to support them throughout the next 5 years, then they fooled you 3 times. You are the fucking ass. Yeah. You were fooled once. This is the second fooling. Shame on Norton. Shame on the PNC. You fooled the Afro-Guyanese twice. The first time is because they didn't have the choice. They thought they need to stand with you because of blah, 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 blah. The second time, you tell them that the PPP is against black people. That's what you did. Now they saw, shit, they fooled us twice. Afro-Guyanese, if you support the PNC for the next 5 years under the current idiots that are there, then you are the fucking assholes. Yes, 3 times they fool you. Not twice, 3 times. You're the idiot. And you will get what's coming. Yeah, Win will come again as opposition leader. 2030. If you stupid fools don't wake up, they fooled you once. They fooled you twice. Let's see what happened this time. Let's see what happened for the 3rd time. They're all racial. They're all racial. You can't change that. You can't change that. Forget about it. Now, I thought I wouldn't wear my glasses today, but I'm not reading much. Anyway, let's before I get to my other point, I saw this thing about this Lola woman. Yeah, hope she recovers. She's recovering, but recollect, she identified. Who is better to identify? If the woman says that's the person who shot her, then that's the person who shot her. She must know. She's the victim. She must know who shot her. If she said that's the person, then that's the person. He has to defend himself against that. If she says that nigga shot her, then that nigga shot her. Nobody else can dispute that who was not there. They're not a victim. They weren't there. They can't dispute that. If she said that's what it is, that's what the fuck it is. My takeaway from that is that nigga that woman pointed out and say he did it. He was fingered, same person, according to sources. He was fingered in a crime just a while back. Same modus operandi, same kidnapping, same shit. How is it that he's on the road? Somebody that has committed those crimes in the past of that magnitude, how is it that he is on the road to have been hired to conduct another close or with intentions to murder? Again, how the fuck does that happen? I mean, seriously, man. What's up with these judges? What's up with these judges? People who are caught with drugs and marijuana. You're sending them to jail. You're putting them on remand. No bail. And criminals who actually kill or attempted murder or operate with robbery on the arms, you're giving them bail? If it is so that it comes down that this man, that this Lola woman fingered, is in fact the person who um, attempt to kill her, that's the thing I'm talking about. These men have been caught in so many different situations regarding breaking down the law and order and committing crime, but yet they're on the fucking street. Yet they're on the road because some judge decided that he should get bail. And when the police, knowing that these guys are going to get bail, pursue them harshly and shoot them on sight, people like Aubrey Norton, Nigel Hughes, that's why they didn't get no votes, and all these others, now we have the Win guy, come out and say, yes, it's extrajudicial killing, it's violence against black people, police killings. Now look at what happened. Look at what happened. Same black caught in alleged kidnapping came back and attempted to take the life of another black person. Where is the protest for that? Where is the ERC, Ethnic Relations Commission? Where is the Human Rights Association of Guyana? Where are all these associations? Why don't they join the call for harsher punishment on criminals like that? When you catch them the first time, jail them the fuck for life. Because you release them, this is what you get. They come back again to finish the job. I said it before, kill the criminals who kill people. Now this guy was fingered in so many crimes. Look at what he's alleged he's caught in again. Look at what, going to kill somebody else. A criminal who should never have been on the street. Same thing with that white woman that nigger killed, that Rastafarian nigger in America who murdered the white woman in the train 13 times. 13 times he broke the law. 13 times he was convicted. But yet some judge decided that he should get another chance. 13, and she gave him a 14th chance, and look what he did with a 14th chance. Murdered an innocent white woman. Why the law is so sympathetic with black criminals? But when somebody else commits some white collar offense, they're not sympathetic. They send them to prison. But black criminals, dark, evil criminals, the law send them back on the street, because without these criminals, lawyers can't make money. Judges wouldn't look cool. Black Lives Matter wouldn't exist without these criminals. So they keep sending them back on the road because they need them to commit crime so they can have some relevance, meaning the people who defend crimes. This is why you have to change the law. You change the law. Go trusting lawyers again. Put them in the ministry. And speaking of which, it was a fake list that was circulating. It was fake about the president's cabinet. It's fake. Okay, it's not real. I think, because sometimes politicians do these things themselves to see the public reaction, to know who to put where, they do it. It's a game they play. But fake or real? Here's my thing, my take on that. I wonder to know, I'm questioning myself, not the president, as to why is it taking this long to put together a cabinet? I mean, you should have had an idea before the elections as to who would fill whatever position. If you were so confident of winning, the cabinet should have been programmed a long time. The same way you put the candidates, the list out of the candidates for the 10 regions. You should have had identified people for these ministries. Okay, this is what we'll deal with if we win again. That should have been there. You don't wait until you win, then go searching for people. These are things you already have. You know exactly who you will put where. That's why I love Trump. Say what you want. I love the guy. Donald Trump knew exactly who he wanted to put where long before. So when he became president, within a few days, he knew exactly. And most of the people that occupies Donald Trump's list, they were not party members. They were not on the list. They were just people that he liked. The man who was the defense minister, the Secretary of War, Keith Hegseth, he was a pundit on Fox News. He was run like what I'm doing. He was a talk show host on a television network. The man who's defense secretary, the Secretary of War, was not a politician. He didn't even went on the campaign trail to talk for Trump. He was just in his studio doing what he does best, talk show. And Trump picked him. Trump didn't pick a lawyer. He didn't pick some general. He didn't pick a congressman. He picked a talk show host to be his Secretary of Defense, of War. Look at the man's cabinet. Most of the people that Trump has, none of them are politicians. None of them. They're businessmen, talk show hosts, radio. That's why America is the greatest. The rest of us are stupid. Now back to the president's cabinet. President Irfaan Ali. I think it's taking too long for us to know who these guys are, that you choose to take certain ministries. I am in favor of shrinking the government. I am in favor of shrinking the government. Save the money of the country. Not because it's there, you're going to expand it. If you had 10 ministries in the previous administration, now you want 20 ministries. No. It's either you keep the 10 or you reduce it to 8. The economy's growth has nothing to do with your ministries. Don't invest in ministers who you know wouldn't function, wouldn't do their jobs. And you can't teach an old dog new trick. An old dog is an old dog. You can't teach them new tricks. You have to retire them. Let them go watch the fowls. You can't put them to do security. If you are talking about a new cabinet, Mr. President, if you are talking about a new cabinet, remember that the Guyanese, the over 60% or more of Guyanese voters, the electorate, who voted for you, President Ali, they voted for you. I need to emphasize that every time. The Guyanese people did not vote for Anil Nandalal, Huge Stud, Mark Phillips, and all these other people. No, they vote for President Irfaan Ali. They didn't vote for any of these other people. Not Priya Manichan, not Vidya Prasad, not Ramson Guy. No, they voted for you, President Ali. If it was up to the old cabinet, if they were the ones who come to say, hey, look at us, vote for us again. No, PPP would have lost. PPP would have lost the elections. People didn't vote for those used up politicians that you had in your previous cabinet. They can't win votes. If you want to test me on that, if you want to test me on that, 2030, put one of them as presidential candidate and see what happens. 2030. Put one of those old folks, let me call some of their names. Anand Nandalal, Vidya Prasad, Priya Manik Chan, Robertson Ben, even one Edgel, this Prime Minister guy, Mark Phillips, or my favorite, Barjaglia. Put any one of the names I called as presidential candidate in 2030 and see what happens to the PPP. Go ahead, try it. The PPP will lose massively because Guyanese, Indo and Afro-Guyanese don't want those people at the top. They tried them, they see that, okay, they're good for whatever. You can't recycle old toys in a new cabinet. There's nothing sexy about it. Nothing sexy about it. You have to scan the public. I know that you are experienced, Mr. President, and you understand the sentiments that the Guyanese people have regarding your old cabinet minister. You know exactly what the Guyanese people feel about them. Listen to the people. They voted for you. Don't put these old players in your new cabinet so they contaminate it. Don't do that. Don't give the opposition ammunition to use against you. Because you can have a successful next 5 years or a disastrous one, regardless of the majority members of parliament. Because the people would not have disdain for you. But if they see you keep putting back these same people who has questionable character, who has not performed well in the same position or give them other positions, you would lose the trust of the Guyanese people. And that's how politicians win elections. Trust. We trust you, President Ali. The Guyanese trust you. You are our guy. We vote for you. I promoted you. Not your former cabinet ministers. I didn't promote them. I promote you. So just like the Guyanese people, I want to see new faces. New faces that has impeccable character. And the PPP has a lot of them. A lot of them. Don't put these guys who are stained already, man. Corruption. We don't want, please don't. Don't do that. A new cabinet means new ministers, not old ministers. You can put them in another position. It doesn't make them new. It doesn't make them new. It's the same old broom you're sweeping with. Get a new broom, it's cheap. So regardless of what position you may trade, it's recycling these people. Don't recycle them. They're member of parliament, leave them as members of parliament. But when it comes to your cabinet, hire people, hire professional, competent people. You are a man that is for the young people, the next generation. Don't put the old generation to think they can persuade the next generation. No, don't do that. You're risking the future of a next election if you put people back there that you very well know are a bunch of fuck-ups. The Guyanese, now the young people are in charge. The young people are in charge. You don't want them voting for people like Win Again. But if they have to see those same faces that they were disgusted by in the past 5 years, you see what happened to the PNC? You see what happened to the PNC? The blacks remembered the history. They didn't forget. They remembered the history of what the PNC did to them as a community. You see what they did to the PNC? They taught them a fucking lesson. They taught them a lesson. We don't want those people. The only lesson that the PPP should be taught is that the Guyanese love the PPP. But if you keep pushing people that the Guyanese hate in the PPP, we have 2030, and before you know it, it's 2029. Can't undo. Now is the opportunity, sir, Mr. President. We are proud of you, but we understand that you alone can't do it. You need a team. We understand that. But the team you had before, too many bad stuff. Too many. To count. You covered their sins, Mr. President. Your character blocked and blinded the electorate from the sins of your cabinet. It was your character that covered their sins. It wouldn't happen again. So the next cabinet you put in together, sir, make sure that their linen is as whiter than yours. So you don't have to wear that burden again for another 5 years, what you did before. We want you to maintain your age. Look at how you aged from 16 to 60 in 5 years. If you put those old broom back, you yourself would have to sweep every ministry. And then in the next 5 years, you'll be 90 years old. We don't want that. If the chances are that you get a third term, we want you to still be Mr. Cutie, Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. President, sexy guy, yeah. Put new young blood that you can compete with. But these politicians, these seasoned politicians, man, they are torn off, man. They are torn off. Seriously, man, they are torn off. Look at crime. Look at crime in Guyana. Look at what's happening. They're still crying out that 40% of the population is living on the property. The facts are the facts. That is not a fact. But the fact that that is getting out there is my point. All the other ministries or ministers in the previous cabinet, how did they try to counteract those talking points? What did they do? How many of them, for that matter, how many of them attracted votes for the PPP? How many of them were busy on social media trying to convince and trying to spread the good nature of the job for the PPP? How many of them? The only person who was visible, two persons who was visible, is Anil Nandalal and Barjaglio and yourself. What happened to all the others? You mean their job mandated that they couldn't have a social presence? As ministers, they couldn't have campaigned their way? They had to be always in suit, professional? How much votes did that get you? No. The people who actually made a difference throughout the presidency is you, Ali, President Ali. It's you. So those people who may come on the campaign trail for the past, when the campaign began, like 1 month, they went to a few locations and they spoke for 5 minutes. You think that made an impact? They spoke for 5 minutes, repeating each other, talking bullshit. And that made an impact on the 40,000 plus extra votes? No, it didn't. The people showed up on the campaign for you, not for them cabinet guy. For President Ali. They went to the campaign, they went in their thousands to hear President Ali. That guy. So none of the people who they're fighting for positions now, they didn't do shit. They did not contribute to the win of the PPP. They didn't. So I don't want to hear that because James Bond crossed over, he should get a minister position. Fuck that nonsense. You forget James Bond cussed the Indians and the PPP for however since he was a child. So he crossed over a month before the election, and that qualifies him for a top position in the government. Are you shitting me? All the people who left the PNC a month before the elections, they qualify for top position in the government. And the people who have been fighting, risking it all for months and years for the PPP's party and the government and for your legacy, President Ali, they are not acknowledged. They are not compensated. They're not rewarded. It's a fucking thank you. But the people who just stepped over, they just, crossed the floor. 1 month. Then went on a few shows and talked blah, 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 blah. People that has no credibility. Not even the blacks want to hear from them. Those people, you're going to give some high profile government position. And they milked the PNC in the 5 years they were there. They milked the system from 2020 to 2024. 2025, they milked the system. And then when they realize, oh shit, their party is going to lose, they step over and pretend that they like Indians, pretend that they like you, Ali. And you're going to be to turn around and just, oh, well, we have to show inclusivity, inclusion. If I see any of the PNC people, any of the PNC, AFC people who crossed over to the PPP a month before the election, if I see any of them in any top government position, if I see any of them in any top government position, I will consider that a betrayal to me. I will take offense in that. And if that's the repay I get, I don't care about the others. Because people like these, what do you call him? This critic guy. The PPP made him a billionaire, right? He got his due. For the past 5 years, he made his billions. So yes, he is supposed to turn a blind eye and to say whatever the fuck he has to say because he got hundreds of millions. All of their concern is that the contracts keep coming. Those are not credible people that would get votes on PPP because the country knows that these guys are slimers and they're people who have to hang their mouth and say what has to be said to make sure that their paycheck keeps coming. You don't listen to, credibility is not there because they were all once with the other side and they switch. So I'm saying the same thing now. If you're going to honor people like Bond and all these other blacks who crossed over from the PNC and the so many names, man, it's hard to keep up from the opposition. And a month before elections, they're coming and pretending that, oh, we love the Indians, we love Ali, oh, the PPP, we have to stand with progress. No, you want to stand with progress because you want to get compensated. You want to get your drawback. You think that you coming over, you brought supporters with you. These guys don't have supporters. They don't have the trust of the black people. And the blacks who voted for the PPP didn't vote for the PPP because of the blacks who left the PNC to come to the PPP. They didn't. The blacks who voted for the PPP did it because they love President Ali. They love President Ali. They were not influenced by no blacks to vote for President Ali. Well, me, probably. So if you're going to turn and ignore most of the grassroots, professional, competent Indo-Guyanese politicians within the PPP or wherever, and you're going to give positions to these blacks who just came, you will lose my support. I am not done with that. My thing is loyalty, faithfulness, loyalty. I don't want to see any PNC, the ones who abandon the PNC. I don't want to see any of the people who stepped over from the PNC in the president's cabinet. I am saying it. I don't want to see that. Mr. President, you have my respect. Like I said before, you're the greatest. You're my brother. I'm loyal to the PPP. I'm sincere. I honor you, sir. I will serve and do what I have to do to help your government. When I say serve, don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about position. I'm not interested in that. I'm saying figuratively. But if you dishonor and put these PNC skulkers in your cabinet, you will lose my support. I am not going to give blind support to the PPP. That shit wouldn't happen. Not because I identify with Ali or PPP. It means whatever the PPP do, it's a thumbs up. I don't have a contracting firm. I don't get contracts. So I don't need to say, yes, sir, that is good. Zero contract. I get nothing from them. It's pure. So if it's pure, I need to say it. All the people in the cabinet better be PPP people. Better be. If not, I'm out. I would feel betrayed. I would feel used. And you will lose my trust. Yeah. The fact that I'm walking away empty-handed, even worse. Even worse. So make sure none of those PNC people who crossed over is on your cabinet. Make sure. I don't care if it's 100% Indo-Guyanese. Better, but not those old ones who were there before. But some young, new ones, you know. If it's Afro-Guyanese in your cabinet, PPP Afro-Guyanese, those who were there for years. They didn't step over. They're always there. Those can be, yeah, of course, we know. Young professionals. But no politicians. Give them parliamentary seat. Not in the cabinet. New cabinet, new people. New house, new broom. New marriage, get a new wife. You want to take the ex back and expect she's going to be faithful? Anytime you take the ex back that you knew cheated, she lied, she did all these shitty things to you, and for some reason, because she starts going to church, you think that, okay, trust God. No. That relationship or that marriage to an ex is 100% bound to fail. You never take an ex back to get married to. You can fuck an ex, but never for a relationship. New cabinet, new people. Thanks again for your service, Mr. President. We are proud of you. We look forward to the next 5 years of blessings, joy, happiness, and prosperity. This is Dr. Love Prasad saying, have a good Saturday. Support this program. Your love gift is what matters. Take this number down, 831-9179. That's 597-831-9179. Send me a text. Say, hey, I like what you do, but don't bluff. Be serious. I would like to support. Share this live, comment, comment. This is how you spread the message. This is how you continue the feed. Comment on the video, comment on the link, comment, share it wherever you can share it. Let's get the message out. But we have a great president, understand that. We have a great president. We have a great party. We just want to make sure that it stays like that. Don't mix it. Keep it pure. Keep it PPP. It's fair, isn't it? What can I say? Bye now.